Hey guys, it is time for Behavior Strategies for Class, and I'm so glad you're here. So, did you know that by having a calm classroom, that it will enhance your students' learning outcomes, reduce anxiety, and foster a positive learning environment? Today, this is what we're going to go over 5 ways that you can create your calm classroom starting today. Let's do this. However, before we start, don't forget, leave a review in Apple Podcast, on Spotify, that 5-star rating, and also you can still get on the wait list for the Behavior Masterclass that comes out September 25th. Guys, it's really going to be great. I want to help you be your best, know the behaviors, know those functions of behaviors so that you can get that correct strategy in there to help your students succeed. And so, if there's something else that you think needs to be in that behavior masterclass, I would love to hear it. Your suggestions are what's going to make it right for you. So you can email me, DM me. I'm on all of the social media, and all of that information is in the show notes. So I look forward to hearing from you. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class. I am Diane Bachman, your behavior paraprofessional with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I'm so glad you're here because I'll be teaching you about social emotional learning, behavior strategies, trauma-informed care, and more. So if you are tired of being frustrated and not knowing what to do with your students who have challenging and disruptive behavior, you're in the right place. Now, if you're ready to become more equipped to help your students learn and grow, let's listen in to today's episode. So in our classroom, we try as much as possible to make it and keep it a calm atmosphere. And so we usually have like half of the lights on, if at all. Sometimes we don't have any lights on. And that's really nice when you have windows in your classroom and you get that natural lighting in there. We also have used that background music in the classroom to keep it calm. And being in Colorado, we like using the video of, the fireplace going and the quiet music going on there as well. Of course, we don't always have the quiet background music on, but definitely the lights is a big way that a lot of students really appreciate not having those like fluorescent lights on all the time. Sometimes, of course, they want it on. Other times, they prefer it not on. We do have a quiet room where they can go in and just be by themselves and get calm there. Other times, they want the light on in there. Other times, they don't want the light on. It just depends, of course, how they're doing, what they're feeling, what they need at that moment. So it really does help keep them calm, or it helps to bring them to that calm space, because sometimes when they come in our room, they're already escalated. And so we try, as turning off lights, moving things out of the way for them, giving them space to, we have a couch in there. We've got bouncy, the big like exercise ball in there. We have giant big bean bags that they can sit on. So there's a lot of alternate seating in there that they can go and just calm down, and just realizing like they need space. And so just being able to give them that space to calm down. Other times it's closing the door so you don't have the out hallway distractions, people walking by, the noises there. We try and close that. We have calming activities they can do. We have the kinetic sand that it works really well We also have Legos, magnetic tiles, although they're not super quiet because, of course, they're plastic, and the magnets. But those are all activities that they can do at the table, they can do by themselves, they can do with others. So, again, that's their preference, where they're at. So we give them lots of options to help them get back into a calm state so that they're ready to focus, they're ready to get back to work. And sometimes we just keep them in our room and we do the work there. Or other times we're like, okay, are you ready to go back to class? And they're ready to go. And sometimes they say yes, other times it's no. And so we try and make sure that they are in a good spot, because when they get to Gen Ed, of course, you have all these other students. So we need to know, are they in a good space where they're not going to become a huge distraction for the rest of the class? That's why sometimes, even though they're calm, you can still tell like they're not in a good state to really be back with the Gen Ed class. And so we kind of assess that as they get calmer and we're able to talk with them and kind of process through. Of course, sometimes they're not going to admit that they're not ready to go back to class. It's really knowing our students, and sometimes we know that we can push them a little bit and say, you know what, I think you are. And, we're going to give it a chance and say it's like 15 minutes. Let's try that first and go from there. We have other students, like he wanted to elope all the time. And we would try and get him in there and be like, okay, well, let's do 15 minutes. And then we'd do the 15 minutes and then leave, because we had to learn and work our way to being trustworthy. Are we a people, who's going to be a person of their word? And I know that's going off a little bit, but again, it's earning their trust, letting them know we are there for them. We want them to succeed. We want them to be in class, but we want to make sure that they're in the right state to be able to learn and be their best when they're in class and not become a huge distraction for everybody. So that's why we do the calming activities. We, let them just lay down for 5 minutes if that's what they need, or if they just want to sit and read a book, whatever it is that is going to help them get back to a calm body and ready to learn. And so again, those are strategies that we've used, different ones for different students, and I'm sure you're going to learn that as well with your students. One thing may work with that student, but it's going to be something different with the other student. And obviously that's okay, because they're all individuals, and getting to know them and what works for them, it's going to be a trial and error sometimes. But that's okay again too, because learning as they grow what's going to be best for them. And then as they learn more about themselves, they become more vocal. And it's great when students can say, I just need a running break. All right, let's go. You have, sometimes these younger students, like they have no way to really communicate what they're feeling, but they sense it in their bodies and they know they need to get out. They need to move. And so being able to give them that space. So again, different strategies and interventions are going to work at different times for different students, depending on how they grow and what they're going through at that moment. So coming back, overall, creating a calm classroom increases their focus and productivity. It reduces stress. It enhances their emotional well-being, and it truly calms the body. Now, I have been, again, in education for over 15 years, and so I've been in a lot of different classrooms, and I'm sure you can also feel the different energy in some of the classrooms. Like one class, it is super chaotic, disorganized. The kids are kind of running amok because they feel that. Like you can sense that when you walk in. Or others, you walk in and it's like, drill sergeant, and, kids can't even breathe correctly. And it is very stressful. And even if the lights are halfway off, like you can still feel that stress and that tension in there. Other times you can walk in. There was one teacher, she never used the overhead classroom lights. Those lovely fluorescent lights she never had on. So she had lamps and all over her room. She also had windows in her room, so she did use the natural lighting as well. And sometimes to me, I was like, okay, this feels like super dark. But that worked really well in keeping a calm atmosphere in her classroom. And then I've seen other teachers, again, they have half of the lights on, and then they have different soft lighting throughout the classroom. It's really what works for you, but I have seen the difference in having lower lighting in a classroom. It really does set a calmer tone in your class. And like I said, there is all of these proven effects and benefits of having not only the lighting, but just a calmer atmosphere for your students. So that's number one. A way that you can create a calm classroom is the lighting. Again, that's your preference on how much, how more, how little, and maybe it changes throughout the day. Depending, there are some classrooms you're on inside of the building and you don't have any natural lighting. So you really have to use all of the lighting in your classroom. That's okay, 'cause students get used to that. I'm not saying that's, you should never have that. It's what works for your class and where you're at and what your preference is. And, obviously the students adapt to what the lighting is and how it is going to be in your class. So number two, again, is that background music. It really is calming. I have seen this work over and over again, and especially like during writing time or any other type of project that students are working on. Just having that background music just really does set the tone to a lower, a calmer atmosphere where students are talking more quietly. And sometimes there is reminders like, guys, nobody can hear the music. Like, we need to tone it down. Sometimes I've seen teachers pick, like, they have a student of the day and they give them like 3 choices and they can decide on what the background music is. Again, the background music is not on all day. It's only certain times, setting the tone on what it is you really want them to be super focused on. It works really well. So number 3 really is the tone of voice. Now, I get it. Some of you just have a louder voice. That's just the way you are. And obviously you can't change that. But what is your body language? They're going to know, even if you do have a louder voice, when you raise it even more. And that, I'm sure puts your class on alert if you're raising your voice even more. But being able to bring it back down, having, sometimes you need to speak in monotone to get their attention, or a great way also to get the classroom calm. I've seen teachers use, is, okay, I'll wait. And they don't say anything until sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Other times it happens pretty quick when the students catch on, like, oh, she's not talking. She's waiting for us. And that's pretty cool to see, because sometimes, of course, our reaction is to yell. Like, guys, I'm trying to get your attention, And so that tone of voice goes up, which raises that tension level in your classroom. So being able, or sometimes I've seen teachers just count back. Okay, I need you focused and sitting at your desk or sitting on the carpet or whatever it is, in 5 and start counting back down. That's another great way to get that calm atmosphere in your class. Just that tone of voice. Number 4, a great way to create a calm classroom is that mindfulness, teaching them mindfulness and, of course, journaling. And a quick plug, I still have my student behavior journal on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. And that is another great tool to use to get them calm, to get them focused, where they're able to release some of their tension and stress that they're feeling at the time by journaling about it. Other times I have seen classrooms use yoga as like their brain break, or maybe indoor recess, or, maybe just a physical movement. They've used yoga like in Go Noodle or, a YouTube video. Also breathing, teaching them breathing techniques to calm themselves and doing it as a whole, because that teaches them again to be mindful. Like, okay, guys, like you're all seem pretty high strung right now. Let's take a breathing break. And taking those deep breaths as a class, bringing it down. It's really quite amazing to see what a difference that makes. It truly does calm them down. Their whole body, you can feel it. If you practice it, you can feel the difference in your body. Which all of this is affecting the behaviors. When you have a calm body and a calm atmosphere, you really do decrease that disruptive behavior in your class. Number 5, acknowledging that positive behavior that you see. That creates a calm classroom. And teachers do it so amazing. I have seen teachers, like, it doesn't have to be a huge deal. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, okay, you can clip up. Okay, let me mark your sheet. Obviously, yes, sometimes teachers do use those, and those are great tools as well. But just a verbal acknowledgement speaks volumes. Like one of the teachers, she's trying to get the attention, and she doesn't point out those students who are not following directions. You're acknowledging those students who are already sitting on the carpet, facing forward, looking at you, and just like, it's great to see Susie. She's looking straight at me. Johnny's doing a great job over here too. Sam, good job. Thank you. And just taking a minute. And then that's it. And then you turn to the lesson. That is super powerful that I've seen as well. Like, students catch on pretty quickly. Yes, sometimes there still is redirection, getting back with that student. If that student is still having a hard time coming back to, like, okay, buddy, like the whole rest of the class is sitting here crisscross, waiting for direction, and you're the only one, like, dancing a jig over here. It's like, come on back. But that really works as well. Just a reminder, verbal acknowledgement of that positive behavior really reinforces what your expectations are for the classroom. So again, 5 ways that you can create a calm classroom is the lighting in your room, background music, your tone of voice, having mindfulness journaling activities, and acknowledging that positive behavior. Because when you have a calm classroom, you increase focus and productivity. You help reduce stress for your students and you. It enhances your emotional well-being and calms the body, which of course affects that student behavior. So try these today, guys. I really guarantee you will see a difference in the calmness in your classroom, creating that positive environment. So the quote that I want to leave you with is from Jonathan Kozol. And he says, in schools with a history of chaos, the teacher who can keep the classroom calm becomes virtually indispensable. And just think what a model you can be for your school, for your grade level. I mean, how amazing if every class could be like this. I challenge you, try it out today. Now, before we go, again, a bonus to creating that calm classroom is having that calm corner. You know, I talk about this a lot, is having that in your classroom. Where can your students go when they feel that stress, that anxiety coming up, anger, frustration? Is there a quick corner where they can sit down, have a meta moment, take a brain break, have a little timer, sand timer next to the area, have them flip it over, pick up a fidget, read a book, whatever it is, and know when that's over, they're back to learning. It's just another safe area in your classroom where they know that they can take a moment, gather themselves, and get back to learning. And they stay in your class, so they're still hearing what's happening. I encourage you also to create that calm corner if you have not done it already. And if you have created that calm classroom corner, share a picture on Facebook. Join the Facebook group. Share a picture of it. We would love to see how you guys have created a calm corner. I've shared a couple examples in there from some of the teachers that I'm working with this year, and they're great. But I would love to see how you have yours set up. Also, you can still get in on that wait list for the Behavior Masterclass. And if you can think of something that is super pressing that needs to be in there, I would love to add it so that you guys are better equipped to handle those student behaviors that pop up in your classroom. So, this month is about classroom management, and I hope this has helped you. And if it has, please share it with somebody else so that we can all have calm, positive learning environments where every student succeeds, because you are amazing. You are life changers, and we can't do it without you. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.